Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rajat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology, I talk about transits. Today this video is about Venus's transit in the sign of Taurus. So Venus is moving out of the sign of Aries and now entering the sign of Taurus on 29th of June. So the end of June will mark the beginning of very important transit for the next couple of months, because Venus is going to be in Taurus till the end of July. Till 26th of July, Venus is going to be in its own sign of Taurus, and during this time it is going to be aspected by Saturn, by the third aspect. Though Saturn and Venus, they share a very friendly relationship, particularly Venus considers Saturn amongst a close friend. However, the third aspect of Saturn on Venus is causing a mild affliction. Besides causing a mild affliction, let me also share with you that this is the Upachaya aspect that represents growth. So it will push Venus towards certain growth opportunities. So you can expect growth with regards to the lordship of Venus in your chart and its natal placement. And of course, through transit as well, we can expect growth opportunities with regards to matters pertaining to that house. But for that, we will have to make extra efforts. Saturn's third aspect is about extra efforts, change, growth, because this is the Upachaya aspect. So it is not bad all the time, but be prepared to put in a lot of labor. Venus is in a great dignity. It will not be conjoined with any other planet. It of course will come in contact with Moon once during this transit, but besides that, the Saturn's aspect is going to be there, but it is not under any other malefic influence throughout the transit. Venus will also be aspecting the sign of Scorpio by the 7th aspect of desire. So wherever the sign of Scorpio falls in your chart, you have to pay careful attention, because Venus will have a great sense of desire with regards to matters pertaining to that house. Venus is about interaction amongst all of us, all the beings in this world. It is a significator of love, of relationship, of harmony, abundance. The natural ruler of the second house and the 7th house of zodiac belt, Taurus and Libra. It rules family, our speech, our food, what we consume, partnership, relationship, all those people who are opposite to you. And its aspect on the very dark, deep sign of Scorpio, the very mysterious sign, definitely is going to bring in a lot of hidden things when it comes to relationship. It is going to promote transformation in relationship, transformation in the way you interact with other people, and this is going to be quite intense. So if you're going through dasha antadasha of Venus, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, if you have any key planets in this axis of Taurus and Scorpio, this transit is likely to have an impact on you. Now let's talk about how Venus's transit in the sign of Taurus, its own sign, is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. At the physical level, you must read this transit from your ascendant sign. At the mental level, you can also read this from your moon sign. Aries ascendant signs or the Aries moon signs. So Venus is your second lord and the 7th lord, the one that rules your family and also your relationship. So it is the sole planet who is responsible for matters pertaining towards your spouse and also your family. Second house is your consumption, what you eat. It is your accumulation. That is why we also see wealth. Venus becomes your Dhanesha. Venus also becomes the Daresha, which is the 7th house lord. All those people who are opposite to you, your attitude towards the outer world of people, things and events, and how you orient yourself. It is the significator for your spouse. So of course, in wealth related matters, business related matters, and of course relationship, family, Venus plays a very important role for all Aries ascendants. Now this time along, Venus has been making a transit in your Lagna, in your ascendant. It would have brought in some positive impact in your personality in terms of your level of interaction. Now Venus is going to enter its own house in the sign of Taurus, which is the second bhava. So your Dhan Lord is making a transit in the second house itself, which is certainly forming a yoga. So for yourself and for your partner, for your spouse, this could be an optimum time to create wealth opportunities. So an increase in your income or any sort of accumulation. If you were to make some important financial decisions, investment related decisions, this could be a pretty good time. you would like to get yourself indulged in different food items, a wide variety of cuisines. This is where you have to stay a little bit cautious as well, because Venus is Rajas energies and that is making a transit in the house of consumption. So you need to avoid extravagance, you need to avoid indulgence as well. Otherwise, this could be detrimental towards your health and well-being. You must remember that Venus is aspecting your 8th house by the 7th aspect of desire. It wants you to have a very good approach towards your lifestyle, towards change. And this change could be sudden in nature as well. Venus wants you to focus on removing or overcoming your weaknesses, because we see weaknesses from the 8th house, and adopt some healthy habits in order to make sure that this month your health and vitality, your immunity should be number one priority, and that will be done by having a nice lifestyle. This is something which Venus demands. You will be very soft while speaking to other people, you will be very approachable in terms of building cordial relationships. Some wealth related matters, it's a good time. Health does need a check, does need a priority. And of course, for your partner as well, this could be a pretty favorable time in terms of having any financial gains. Venus is also under the 3rd aspect of Saturn, which is the Upachaya aspect, the aspect of growth. So the power of labor is supporting your decision making when it comes to relationship matters and also financial matters. So you will work very hard. Even if you were to earn a penny, you will work very hard towards it. If you were to protect your relationship, you will again put in extra efforts and work very hard. This time period, it will help you stay grounded. And this could be by the virtue of certain experiences. Maybe your partner might play a very dominating role over the next 1 month, which causes you some sort of humility to practice, or probably stay grounded and being a good listener, or perhaps whatever your spouse or your partner says, you will become like a follower. You would start perhaps following orders. And this is where you must look at strengthening your Lagna Lord Mars. In order to make some important decisions, this is what you need to strengthen, because your 2-8 axis is pretty active. Transformation could be swift, but this might not be an easy transformation, because of course you will have to put in a lot more efforts. Change is not going to come very easy to you over the next few weeks, but you have to be change ready. So avoid any kind of resistance situation and try to adopt change. Work towards women, their welfare. So any donation towards women, towards female, that will be a very good remedy for you throughout the transit. Taurus ascendant signs or the Taurus moon sign. So what is happening? Venus is going to enter Taurus, which is its own sign, its home, on 29th of June until 26th of July. Venus is going to stay in this sign. During this transit, both Venus and Moon will also form a very beautiful yoga, because this is the sign that is co-ruled by Venus and Moon. It is the own house of Venus and it is the Mool Trikon sign of Moon, past 3 degrees, because till 3 degrees Moon is exalted. After that, it is Mool Trikon sign. And one of the powerful wealth yogas to have is a yoga between these two planets, that is Venus as well as Moon. It's your 1st lord and the 6th lord. Venus rules yourself, your body, your vitality, your immunity, who you are, your outlook towards the world. This is where your decision making matters, because you make decisions by the virtue of your Lagna and the support of your Lagnesh, that is Venus. It also rules your 6th house of daily routine, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your debts, diseases, health and well-being. Growth is seen from this house because this is the Upachaya Bhava. We also see weaknesses of the mind or Shadripus from your 6th house. Enemies are also seen from the 6th house. Whether you will be able to overcome your enemy's opposition should be seen from the natal placement of Venus. Now this Venus is making a transit in your ascendant, in your 1st house, in its own sign of Taurus itself. So please welcome your Lagna Lord Venus in your ascendant. This kind of transit only happens once in a few months. Sometimes it could be up to an year as well, and this is happening with you after a long time. So it is an opportunity for you to make the most of this transit for yourself and for your relationship, because it is putting a lot of focus on the 1-7 axis. And interestingly, Venus is in the ascendant, it is pretty strong, it is in a great dignity, it will make you focus a lot on your personality development. You will be very conscious about what to wear, what not to wear, the accessories that you need to carry, the clothes that you need to buy, what is that you need to have as far as your collection is concerned. So you'll be very careful about things that you possess, and of course, what are some of those things that you will let go. And of course, it is also a time for you to maybe look at conveniences. You will spend money in machines in terms of buying something that could ease your work. So you'll buy new equipments, new machines, and of course, new items for your home. So this is where you have to also avoid any kind of impulsive decision making in order to make sure that you're not spending for unnecessary reasons. If there's a necessity, go ahead with it. Venus is under the third aspect of your Yoga Karaka, 9th and 10th Lord, Saturn. So Saturn promotes growth. It does bring delays as well. For momentarily, things will pick up a pace when it comes to work, when it comes to your fortune, because these are the two things which Shani rules. And it is bringing a power of labor in terms of growth, which is the third aspect of Saturn. It is the Upachaya aspect. Of course, you will have to put in more efforts if you were to transform, but at the same time, this will be a fast-paced month for you. So if there have been any delays in terms of important projects, tasks, particularly if they're related to your job or it is related to yourself, now things will start moving. Venus is aspecting your 7th house by the 7th aspect of desire. So it desires you to step into a new relationship. In case you're not in a relationship, this time period could increase the chances of you stepping into a relationship. It could also see you getting married or probably coming close to finalizing something. If you're already in a relationship, this is a good transit for yourself and for your partner as well. Could bring some nice travel opportunities if you have any plans here. But make sure that you do everything to continue to strengthen this Venus. Worship Goddess Lakshmi, Durga, Shakti. A simple mantra, that is Om Lakshmaya Nama, could be very good for you to channelize these energies and avoid any mild affliction that Saturn is also causing. But you need not worry, because Saturn is a Yoga Karaka planet for you. The task that you were to complete, you will be able to complete it over the next few weeks if they're related to yourself, your business, your relationship, and continue to focus on a healthy living. You have a great potential in terms of implementing some good habits to change your lifestyle in a very good way. Avoid overindulgence. That is again a tip that I'd like to share with you. Gemini ascendant signs or the Gemini moon signs. So Venus is the only graha or planet for Gemini ascendants or moon signs. That is the only Yoga Karaka planet or the most favorable planet for this ascendant, right? Even more favorable than the Lagna Lord Mercury and the 9th Lord Saturn, because it's your 5th Lord, and 5th Lord becomes the most important planet for any ascendant. It also rules 12th house. 12th Lord more or less is neutral, and 5th Lord becomes very auspicious. And since its Mool Trikon sign is Libra, it becomes Yoga Karaka. So your 5th Lord of future, your children, positional success, your Purva Punya deeds, and of course what you've accumulated from past and past life and how it will manifest into your future, into the upcoming karmas, is seen from Venus. It rules creativity, speculation, and it also rules love. This house we see love from. We also see corruption from the 5th house. It is also the 12th Lord of expenses, losses, your higher self-consciousness, your sleep, bed comforts, your ability to give. Donations are seen from the 12th house, and its Lord, how willing you are in order to help others in terms of making some donations. Venus is making a transit in the 12th house in the sign of Taurus, in its own sign. So there are two things here. Firstly, 12th Lord making a transit in the 12th house is a Viparita Yoga in transit, which means circumstances could go adverse. Eventually you will rise. Venus as a planet does very well in the 12th house, because it is the natural house of its exaltation. It gets exalted in Pisces, so it's a very comfortable position for Venus. It is the house of devotion, and Venus loves devotion. This house represents your feet. Okay, Venus gets exalted in Pisces because that is Lord Vishnu's feet, right? And where Venus thrives. So of course, take care of your feet, and hygiene related to your legs and your feet you have to maintain all through the time. This is a very simple remedy for you, right? If you probably fix this, life will be very good. Your expenses could be on a higher side for the next 1 month. You will be a little bit concerned about the rising expenditure and certain financial restrictions that you might have to deal with over the course of next few weeks. So as long as you're able to control your expenditure, have a budget exercise, this could be good for you. Spiritually, it is a good transit because Venus rules mantras for you. Your fifth lord making a transit in the 12th house, the house of devotion, the house of giving away, and of course, make donations towards dharma. Go to religious places. This time period could bring in travel as well, could bring a lot of rejuvenation. So visit places, foreign lands, foreign countries, air travel, right? All of this could bring in. And of course, don't pay attention to certain fear mongering that these dates are not good for traveling, those dates are not good for traveling. Stick to your plans, and of course, look at those favorable nakshatras, right, in terms of what your Janma nakshatra is. Now, this Venus is aspecting your 6th house by the 7th aspect of desire. It wants to fix your daily routine. So, if you fix your daily routine and be very consistent in what you do through the day, you have to do a lot of networking over the next few weeks. That is something which can help you in order to make some good decisions, to help you be more aware. Because Venus is the significator of relationship, it is aspecting your 6th house of enemies. So, make your enemies your friends. So, if you make friends with your enemies, this could be a protective transit for you. Otherwise, network with people, try to build and establish your brand. You have to divert your attention to other things that could minimize your expenditure over the course of next few weeks. Venus is under the 3rd aspect of your 9th lord Saturn. Saturn is also your 8th lord. So, of course, it is bringing the power of labor, and the 3rd aspect is of growth. So, growth of spirituality and growth of relationships. So, if you engage with your partner in spiritual activities, this could be good for you. Otherwise, this period could be a little bit challenging towards your relationship as well. You could get into minor quarrels, arguments. You need to take control of your temperament. Devotion is the only solution to many of these problems. So, the more devoted you are, the more sadhanas you do, the better it is for you. In case you cannot do prayers, do some yoga, meditation, go out there, connect with the nature. There are plenty of ways to devote yourself towards good things and connect with the nature. Cancer ascendant signs or the Cancer moon sign. So, what is happening? Venus, who is the 4th lord and the 11th lord for the Cancer ascendant or the moon signs. Now, Venus here rules your 4th house of safe space, your happy space, your comfort space. It is the Sukh Bhav. It represents your mother, your homeland, where you feel most happy, where you feel protected, where you feel very comfortable. It is also the house of public. Venus also becomes your 11th lord of your wider social network. So, for social interactions, public work, dealing with others, Venus plays a very important role for Cancer ascendants. Venus also becomes the ruler of 11th house, which is your material gains. It also represents your bigger enemies because this is the 6th from the 6th house. So, bigger, more tough enemies are seen from the 11th house, and this is also the Bhadak Sthan. So, it indicates obstacles for you as well. Now, this Venus is making a transit in the 11th house itself in its own sign of Taurus. I always say, and I stand by my verdict, that planets placed in the 11th house mostly deliver good results in their time periods. Planets making a transit in the 11th house mostly, unless they are severely afflicted or the Lord is severely afflicted, mostly give positive results. Venus is a natural benefit. In your case, it's more of a neutral planet because it rules one Kendra house, so it holds an important lordship. It is now making a transit in the 11th house, which is forming a Dhan Yoga, because 4th and the 11th lord are connected, and the 11th lord is making a transit in the 11th house. It is aspecting the 5th house. So, 3 of those houses that represents wealth are connected. So, it's a good month to create wealth opportunities. Wealth opportunities through feminine energies, through female, and of course, your relationship would play a vital role. You could be involved in resolving other people's conflict, your friends, your wider social network. This is a very good time to influence other people, especially if you work with people who are of the opposite sex. You can very well use the power of your interaction and influence them and take some favors in terms of your progress and success. So of course, if you're looking forward to having an incentive, increment, rise in your income or a new source of income, this could be a favorable time for you. Venus is aspecting your 5th house by the 7th aspect of desire. This is very good for your children. So for their progress, for their success, for your spouse's success or your partner's success, love interest will be on the rise in case you're looking forward to getting into a new relationship or improving your current relationship. Now things can move more or less in a positive side. So you remember that Saturn, who is your 8th lord, and Saturn is also your 7th lord, is having a third drishti or aspect on Venus, which is the aspect of growth. It is the Upachaya aspect, and this is where Saturn is promoting discipline in your relationship. Saturn is promoting the sense of hard work in your relationship. So you need to put in extra efforts if you were to influence others. You need to bring in that change. You need to bring in a change in yourself, watch your temperament and stay grounded, because this is going to kill your ego. If you have a superiority kind of a thinking, this is going to change things for you drastically. And overall, I do expect this transit to have mostly positive effects for you. Leo ascendant signs or the Leo moon signs. So what is happening here is your 3rd lord and the 10th lord Venus is now going to be making a transit in your 10th house. 10th house of your profession, your work. It is the Karya Bhava, your actions in the society, what you do to survive and sustain yourself in the world. This is where we also see your business. This is one of the Rajya Bhavas that represents kingdom. So 5th house and 10th house, these are the two Rajya Bhavas. Venus becomes an important planet for Leo ascendants because it rules one important Kendra house, that is your 10th house. Venus is also the ruler of the 3rd house of efforts, change, valor. It is the Upachaya Bhava. So we see growth from this house. We see a sense of shift. Journeys are seen from this house. Guru Upadesha, your message, blessings or teachings from a mentor is seen from this house. Venus is going to be making a transit at the 10th house. So 10th lord making a transit at the 10th house, firstly, it's a very good transit for work related progress and particularly for you to improve work relationship. Venus is the significator of relationship, the interaction between two or more people, the beings. And this is where you have to constantly focus on improving and strengthening your professional relationship, those people who you work with, because you can get favors. You also have a huge opportunity to build your own brand. Secondly, a lot of efforts is also making a transit in the 10th house. So which means any efforts that you put which are related to your work, you are likely to see some positive outcome, you're likely to see some positive results. In case you run a business, because this Venus is being aspected by your 7th lord Saturn, by its 3rd aspect or drishti. Momentarily, things might have been challenging at the work front, but this time period would really ensure that any efforts that you put, there is the power of labor. There is growth that is guaranteed. Condition if there are efforts. Venus is also aspecting your 4th house by the 7th aspect of desire. So you must understand that Venus gains directional strength in the 4th house. In the 10th house, it is losing direction. So it is 0 Digbal. So you don't have to be very much reliant on fortune or probably luck or any prayers to solve your problems. You have to take things in your own hands. Venus desires you to step out of your comfort zone. Of course, focus on mindfulness, focus on your personal life, but there is a greater focus that is there on work, and relationships are going to improve. You will also see a great improvement in your health and vitality over the next few weeks, because this time period is very good from a health point of view. In case you're expecting a rise in your income, or if you want to change your job, change your line of work, in case your dasha and the dasha is supportive, this time period could create positive circumstances, positive situations for you to look at any work related change, but you will have to put in more efforts here. See, again, the key words for you is relationship, and that is something which will help you make your presence felt. Anything that you do at home, at workplace, with your friends, if you do not make your presence felt, you are likely to face some questions from people as if you are not there or you do not exist. So leverage the power of communication here and strengthen your ascendant Lord Surya, Sun, which gives you authority, which gives you ego, but that is good ego, right? That you have to channelize in an appropriate way so that you take the lead in terms of anything that you're doing. So when it is about relationship, working with other people, you got to take the lead during this time, which is very important for you. Virgo ascendant signs or the Virgo moon signs. Venus is an important planet for you because it's your second lord and the ninth lord. Now, Venus plays a very important role in all financial matters because it rules two of those houses that play a very important role in financial situation, your wealth. Second lord, second house, that is the house of accumulation. That is why we see wealth from this house. Venus becomes your Dhanesha. It is also the house of your family, your kutum, speech, what you say, consumption, what you eat. And it is also the house of fulfillment of yourself. Yourself is seen from the first house and fulfillment or consumption is seen from the second house. So Venus represents food of all kinds and what you consume. It is also the ninth lord of Bhagya, Dharma, long distance travel. Journeys are seen from this house. And we also see spiritual education. Higher education is also seen from the ninth house. Father figure, your lineage and dharma, that is most important. Therefore, Venus becomes a very important planet and this Venus is now making a transit in your ninth house itself. So, the ninth lord making a transit in the ninth house and also second lord making a transit in the ninth house is a very important wealth yoga in transit. And this Venus is going to be aspected by your fifth lord Saturn. So, there are perhaps very good chances of you earning wealth and your partner also making a significant wealth creating opportunities over the next few weeks because fortune is favorable. Though from a relationship point of view, this is not the most ideal time. You could have quarrels, you could have arguments, you could have some sort of change or you could have some difficult situation or circumstances in your existing relationship. So you have to be a little bit careful because ninth house is not very conducive when it comes to relationship and Venus making a transit and being aspected by Saturn, which is already making a transit in your seventh house. So this is causing a mild affliction on Venus. So you have to take things in your own hand and try to not get involved in any of these situations and try to take control of your temperament. So of course, if you're expecting an increment, a rise in your income, financial gains, this could be a favorable time in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. Venus is aspecting your third house by the seventh aspect of desire. It desires journey. Venus represents air travel. So this time period could bring journeys, could bring travel, which could be fruitful for you. And if it is with your family, it is all the more better. If it is related to dharma, any religious places or shrines you were to visit, it could be absolutely very good for you. You must plan such travel. 3-9 axis is active, which also indicates start of a journey. Journey doesn't necessarily mean that you will travel. It could be start of a new line of work as well, something that you've been thinking of doing, which can make you earn a secondary source of income. You have to do a lot of financial planning over the next few weeks and take some long-term financial decisions. Venus will be under the third aspect of Saturn, who is a Yoga Karaka planet for you, who is the fifth lord, who is the Karaka planet, a favorable planet, and this is where it will ensure that you need to put in a lot more efforts when it comes to starting something new and not be very much reliant or dependent on your bhagya. Don't wait for things to happen. Step into the situation. If you were to fix your relationship, you will have to step into the situation. If you step out, it is going to be detrimental. You will also have very healthy habits, eating habits that is likely to go some change. So make sure that you make the most of this time if you have been trying to change your lifestyle. Worship Goddess Lakshmi. Use the Lakshmi mantra in order to channelize the energies of this Venus, or you could also use the Venus Bij mantra to gain the most from this transit. Libra ascendant signs or the Libra moon signs. So Venus becomes your Lagna lord, lord of the ascendant. So regardless of your time period, dasha, antardasha, pratyantardasha, whatever dashas you're going through, Venus's transit will always have a significant role in terms of bringing in some effects, right? So you have to always read Venus's transit. It rules yourself, which is your body, your vitality, your immunity, who you are, your decision making, your attitude towards all the others. This is where the power of your thinking sits, your lifestyle, health, vitality, immunity, who you are. Venus also becomes the eighth lord of longevity, Ayush, suddenness in life, sudden change, transformation. There's a lot of depth in this house. It represents your secrets, your deep desires as well, and your ability to cope up with difficult situation. Also your weaknesses. So we call it Nij dosha in Vedic terms. Venus is making a transit in the 8th house itself. So firstly, Venus is a natural benefic and a functional benefic for you as well, because it's your Lagna Lord. And Venus is the only planet that attained the knowledge of Mrit Sanjeevani by the blessings of Lord Shiva. So it does relatively well in the 8th house compared to all the other planets. It will not cause any harm here. So it is protecting transformation. Since it's your Lagna Lord, it will help you overcome weaknesses. So if you have been looking for a change in your lifestyle by 180 degree, this is your time of the year. If you were to give up your weaknesses or take control of your weaknesses by focusing more on your key strengths, by adopting good habits, by bringing a change in your lifestyle. If you do that, your health and vitality is being protected. So this is a good window for you if you were to improve any health related issues that you've been facing over the course of some time. So 8th lord in the 8th house is giving you a Viparita yoga. Circumstances, situation could go adverse, eventually you will rise. From a relationship point of view, this is a very good transit because 8th house is fulfillment of your relationship. So Venus is going to bring in positivity and going to make things more fulfilling, more enriching. And it's a good transit for your spouse's wealth or income. They could see a positive change or an increase in their income in case their time periods are favorable. This is also your first lord making a transit in the 8th house, which is giving transformation. So be change ready and work on doing some sort of research. It's a very good time to study occult, astrology, Jyotish, any of the ancient subjects, any of those subjects that have a lot of hidden knowledge, that have a lot of depth to it. Venus is aspecting your 2nd house by the 7th aspect of desire. So it desires you to continue your level of interaction with your family, also bring in significant changes in your diet. Venus has Rajasic energy, so avoid overindulgence, avoid extravagance. Be very careful of the time that you eat. See, spiritually it is a good transit for you, so have some morning routine, have some yoga, sadhana or similar practices. Venus is also being aspected by Saturn. Saturn is a yoga karaka planet for you. It's your 4th and the 5th lord. And besides giving a Viparita yoga, it is under the 3rd drishti of Saturn, which is the Upachaya aspect. So definitely transformation of yourself and your relationship. If you are in a relationship, both of you need to make a significant change in your lives in order to make things work. If you are trying to step into a relationship, you have to bring in some significant changes in yourself because it is not working the way that you've been thinking that it will work. So it is time for you to bring in some change to make things work. Health and vitality is going to improve, your financial situation condition is going to improve, and a very good time to make a good change in your lifestyle. You must look at worshipping Lord Vishnu. Use an Ashtakshari mantra, that is Om Namo Narayanaya, in order to make the most of this transit and bring in some sort of positivity. Scorpio ascendant signs or the Scorpio moon signs. So what is happening? Venus, who has been making a transit in your 6th house in its Maran Karaka position or the death-like position, now finally it is moving out of your 6th house and it is going to enter your 7th house. Venus is your 7th lord. So firstly, your 7th lord who rules your spouse, partnership, business, marriage, relationship. It is also the Jaya Bhava. We see peace and war. It is also the Daya Bhava. We see your ability to give or whether you will be selfish. When there's a benefic planet in the 7th house, we can say that yes, person is more or less self-centered. So of course, the next 1 month till the end of July is going to make you self-centered, but there is no harm of keeping yourself first, right? Having a preference before anyone else, even before your relationship. So you need a lot of self-care over the course of next few weeks. This is a good time for you to love yourself and do all those things that you've been wanting to do for yourself, because that is going to be your inherent nature, or probably the energy that you would feel. 7th Lord in the 7th house is good from a relationship point of view, because it is bringing in positivity in terms of your approach, and particularly for your partners or spouse health and well-being. This is going to be quite a protective time period for yourself and for your partner, because there's a benefic aspect on your Lagna as well. See, Venus is also your 12th Lord. 12th Lord making a transit in the 7th house. Of course, the expenditure, if you're married, your expenditure is likely to increase. Your partner's expenditure is likely to increase. So be prepared for it. In case you can avoid any major expenses, try not to be very impulsive in your decision making when it comes to financial management. So you need a lot of financial management. And Scorpio ascendant, I have seen, they usually struggle with their finances. Many a times their spouse might probably take account of finances or try to manage, which is a good way from a karmic standpoint. But this is a time when you have to take things in your own hand and try to do a budget exercise. See, Venus is aspecting your Lagna, your ascendant. So of course, there's the power of interaction, which is aspecting your ascendant, and of course Venus wants you to improve your personality. So be eloquent in anything that you do, be more presentable. You will be very conscious of what you say, how you say, to whom you say, and all of these things, and it is good because it helps you prepare. It helps you have a very good plan in place so that you can grow. Businesses could grow if you have a business. If you're trying to establish new business partnerships, then this could be a particularly favorable time. This time period, Saturn is also aspecting Venus by the 3rd aspect of growth. Saturn, who's your 4th Lord, is trying to bring in a sense of comfort in your relationship. Of course, this is causing a mild affliction on Venus. There could be some delays that this period could cause. There could be some coldness in your relationship that this period could cause. So make sure that you let this pass and continue to strengthen Jupiter in your chart. You must look at strengthening Jupiter to overcome any ill effects and to increase and bring in a sense of positivity in your life. Sagittarius ascendant signs or the Sagittarius moon signs. Venus is moving out of Aries and entering its own sign of Taurus on 29th of June, and it is going to stay there till 26th of July. Now, Venus for Sagittarius ascendants is a potent malefic planet, because for all Jupiter ruled ascendants, Venus becomes potent malefic, and for all the Venusian ascendants, Jupiter becomes the potent malefic. In your case, it's your 6th Lord and the 11th Lord. So one thing in common that Venus rules is enemies, opposition, obstacles. Though it is not the Badhic age, but it still rules opposition. So this is where obstacles in form of people come in place, not in terms of things and events, but people. Venus is your 6th Lord of daily routine, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your debts, diseases, enemies, competition. We also see intelligence from the 6th house. We also see growth from the 6th house, because this is the Upachaya Bhava. Venus also becomes the 11th Lord. 11th Lord also represents enemies, bigger enemies, because this is 6th from your 6th house. Material comfort, material things are seen from the 11th house. Your income is seen from the 11th house. Illusion, your sense of fulfillment is also seen from the 11th house. Those things which are fulfilling for us, and that matters quite a lot. Now what is happening? Venus is making a transit in your 6th house. So there are two things here. Firstly, 6th Lord making a transit in the 6th house is a Viparita Yoga in transit, which means circumstances, situation could go adverse. Eventually, you will rise from this transit. Okay. Secondly, Venus attains Maran Karaka position, or it's a death-like position in the 6th house. This somewhat applies in transit as well, but momentarily it will be good for you, because Venus is losing its significance, losing its power. So you will be able to overcome opposition. You will be able to overcome enemies. So this is a good thing for you. So it's a blessing in disguise kind of a transit. I do not expect you to have any detrimental effects in terms of relationship. Of course, you have to stay grounded. Of course, you have to practice and of course do a lot of sadhana. And this is a good time for you to bring in a sense of eloquence, consistency, beauty and cleanliness in your daily routine. So the biggest remedy for you is to ensure that you keep your surroundings clean. You wear clean clothes, you wear well ironed clothes, you are absolutely very well presentable. Even the time when you step out from your house, make sure that you're neatly dressed up. This will matter a lot. So if you bring in a sense of cleanliness in your daily routine, from a remedial point of view, even if you spend 10 to 15 minutes cleaning up every day, cleaning your house or your room or organizing things, this could be very good for you. Maybe the ideal time for you to reorganize your wardrobe, reorganize your personal things and try to donate those clothes that you don't have. Maybe try and take a look. If you have any torn clothes, discard them immediately. If you have any old clothes, please give them for donation. Venus is aspecting your 12th house by the 7th aspect of desire. It wants you to donate. It wants you to help others, offer whatever you can in your best capacity and make sure that you do not talk about those donations. These donations should be done secretly. Now what is happening that Venus is also being aspected by Saturn by the 3rd aspect, which is the Upachaya aspect, the aspect of growth. So momentarily this time period is protecting you from enemies, from opposition. If you have any competitive examination, this time period could be favorable for you. If you have to visit outside of your home country or travel abroad, this time period could be favorable for you in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. You could also repay some of your debts and be very careful in terms of making any important financial decisions where borrowing and lending is involved. This is not the ideal time to make a decision related to borrowing or lending, but yes, to close off some past debts, this could be a favorable time period for you. Capricorn ascendant signs or the Capricorn moon signs. So what is happening here? Venus, who is the Yoga Karaka planet for you, the most favorable planet, because it rules your 5th house and the 10th house. These are the two Rajya Bhavas or the houses that represents kingdom. 5th house is the house of your future. We also call it Purva Punya because it is connected to the past deeds that are going to manifest in future. Past is seen from the 9th house because that is the house of father. 5th house is the house of children. That is why we can never see past from the 5th house. It is all about future, progress, positional success. Mantras are seen from this house and Venus becomes Mantresha or the planet that rules mantras, whether mantra based remedies will work for you or not. Sometimes astrologers might say, oh, this is a powerful mantra for you, but mantras don't work for everyone. There isn't any such thing called a powerful mantra. Mantras are done to calm your mind, to help you channelize your decisions, to help you make the right decisions and to help you give some guidance in order to sail through these times. These will not fix your problems, but it gives you the courage, the thinking, the futuristic approach to solve these problems. This is how we see mantras, right? And Venus also becomes the 10th lord of your action in the society, your Karya Bhava, work, profession, what you do to survive and sustain yourself in this world. It could be a business, it could be a job. 5th lord and 10th lord making a transit in the 5th house is bringing in very good work related progress firstly. So this kind of a transit will not happen for the next few months, maybe about an year or so, when Venus will probably make another transit in the 5th house. So in case you're going through the right time period, Dasha, Antardasha, this time period is supporting your finances. This time period is supporting your decision making. You're likely to make the right kind of decisions for your future, for your work, and of course, love interest is going to be on a higher side because we see love from the 5th house and unconditional love. So you could attract new relationship. You could step into new relationship where there are feelings involved. If you have children, this could be an auspicious time period for you. They could have some growth. They could have some sort of success or achievement. So make sure that you cherish, you celebrate these achievements. You have to be very creative in your approach when it comes to work, when it comes to your job. So the more creative you will be, better are your chances of success during this time. Venus is aspecting your 11th house by the 7th aspect of desire. So of course this period gives you Dhan Yoga, which is directly linked to your work. If you be creative and if you maintain cordial relationship with other people, you could get some growth. If not growth, you could be recognized, you could be rewarded for your efforts, for your work, and particularly you can have favors from those people who are of the opposite sex, and particularly if they work for you, your subordinates. Make sure that you take care of them during this time. You could have some favors you can gain from it. Venus is also under the third aspect, third drishti of your Lagna Lord Shani or Saturn. Saturn's third aspect is all about growth. It is the Upachaya aspect. Of course, it is causing a mild affliction, but if you use any mantra based remedies, this can help you channelize the energies. Mantras should be related to Venus. Either a Shukra Bij mantra could be good for you, or a Panchakshari mantra, that is Namah Shivaya, or a simple Lakshmi mantra that could be very good for you. If you cannot chant a mantra, read Shri Suktam on a daily basis or listen to it. You will get some positivity. And if there have been any delays with regards to your progress, with regards to your future decisions, now things will start moving in a bit fast paced manner. A very good time to plan ahead for the next few months in terms of what are some of the important decisions that you need to take. Wishing you the very best. Aquarius ascendant signs or the Aquarius moon signs. Venus is a Yoga Karaka planet for you, or the most favorable planet, because it rules one Kendra house and one trinal house. Venus is the 4th lord and the 9th lord. One Kendra house, that is the 4th house of your safe space, comfort, happy space, your mother, homeland, where you feel most happy, where you feel most protected, at ease, in a comfortable position. We see your assets, home, lands, vehicles, whatever you own, whatever you possess, your possessions are seen from the 4th house. And Venus also becomes the 9th lord of Bhagya, fortune, father or father figure, your lineage, dharma, long distance travel, journeys that are of long distance, spiritual places, spiritual knowledge, higher learning and higher education is also seen from the 9th house, besides some of the other houses as well. I always say that Aquarius ascendants have a natural karma towards their parents, because there is one planet, that is Venus, who is the ruler of the house of your mother and the house of your father. So there is naturally one karma that is there that you cannot run away with. Ideally, you should not run away from this karma. If you run away, if you have differences, there are challenges. You're inviting challenges here. So make sure that you always maintain cordial relationship with your parents. Now your 4th and the 9th lord is making a transit in the 4th house itself of your happy space, comfort space. Venus gains directional strength or is Digbali in the 4th house. Therefore, there are blessings of goddess Lakshmi, Shakti, Durga, Parvati. There are blessings of the Holy Mother over the course of next few weeks. What is happening here is, when these blessings are there, you will have very good decision making. You will be very focused about your comfort, your happy space, your safe space. Venus is aspecting your 10th house by the 7th aspect of desire, which desires new work, better work, and an improved work environment. So any decisions that you will take over the next few weeks with regards to your workplace, with regards to job, change of job, and any changes in your residence, in your household, it's an optimum time for you. As a remedy, you must declutter your house. Make sure that you clean, keep it neat and tidy. Donate those things that you don't need, particularly any old clothes that you have. Donate them. Give them away to those who need. In case you work from home, make sure that your desk, your workspace is absolutely clean. And even in your office, the good remedy for you is to clean your space. Bring a white flower plant at your home, indoors or outdoors. That is your choice. But this is going to bring in a lot of positivity, and it is a very good remedy for you during this time. So what is happening here is, Venus, of course, is aspecting your 10th house, wants you to focus on workplace relationship and make your presence felt at workplace. This Venus is also being aspected by your Lagna Lord Saturn, by the third aspect. So of course, you need to step out of your comfort zone, because this is what Shani's third Upachaya aspect on your fourth house signifies. But momentarily, this is going to be a time for you to focus on your mindfulness, on your mental health and your strength. Your health is going to improve, your vitality, your immunity. If you've had any issues with regards to your thinking, your well-being, that is going to improve, because you will have a lot of mindfulness during this time, right? And focus on doing some sort of adjustment, some sort of renovation at your home. Look up to Venus and read Sri Suktam on a daily basis. That is how you will be able to channelize these energies positively. Pisces ascendant signs, or the Pisces moon sign. So what is happening here is Venus is moving in its own sign of Taurus between 29th of June till 26th of July, nearly a month. And this Venus is your third and the eighth lord. It is a potent malefic for you from a functional point of view. It's the third lord of valor, efforts, courage, your desire, change. We see siblings, particularly younger siblings or co-borns, from the third house. We also see journeys from the third house. Your learning, Guru Upadesha, blessings, message or teachings from your mentor is seen from the third house. Venus also becomes the eighth lord of longevity, deep desires, deep secrets, sudden ups and downs, transformation, obstacles, challenges, and also your weaknesses, because this is why we call it Nija Dosha. Now what is happening here is Venus is making a transit in your third house itself, which is supporting effort. But Venus in the third house gives very high sense of desire. So over the next few weeks, you have to take charge and take control of your desire. This is where you need some sort of guidance. You need some sort of mentorship or consulting of someone who is learned. Look up to Guru. Look up to strengthening your Lagna Lord Jupiter. And if you get the right advice, you will be able to make the right kind of decisions during this time. Eighth lord making a transit in the third house, and third lord in the third house is very similar to a Viparita Yoga in transit. Situation could go adverse. Eventually you will rise. And if your Lagna Lord is in strength and it is conjoined in good houses in your natal chart, this could be mostly a favorable transit for you. Otherwise, your desires could probably lead to a bad decision. So be very careful of when you decide. This decision could be related to your work, your efforts, your relationship with your siblings, or it could be a decision related to your communication with other people. When Venus is making a transit in the third house, I always advise you to journal. Journal, write about gratitude particularly. Venus himself is gratitude, he is Shukra. And this is where Venus is also aspecting your ninth house by the seventh aspect of desire. So a 3-9 axis is pretty active. Journeys could be good for you. If these journeys are for spiritual purpose, all the more better. This time period might not be the most ideal time to start something new. If you could wait, hold on to it, it might be better for you. But then you need to look at your current time period, the Dasha Antardasha that you're going through. But Venus does desire you to be very devoted, to stick to the path of righteousness. See, because when your desires are high, you will have indulgence, extravagance, and of course, you need to have a very respectful behavior towards the opposite sex, particularly towards women. So must respect. Saturn is aspecting Venus by the third aspect of growth. Saturn is making a transit in your ascendant and aspecting Venus by the third aspect. So the power of labor is ensuring that you grow by your efforts. And you need to be committed towards your effort, because Venus rules efforts in your chart. So do not shy away from putting any efforts. This time period is a bit delayed for you. It could bring in a sense of slowdown or slowness. But then with that, you could take a break, go and travel, go on a journey to a spiritual place. If not, you can go and connect with the nature. Try to keep yourself occupied all through the day. Exercise. So anything that makes your hands at work could be absolutely a good remedy for you. But overall, you must look at strengthening your Lagna Lord Jupiter in order to make the most of this transit in a positive manner. So friends, this was yet another unique video about Venus transit in the sign of Taurus, which is its own sign. I hope and believe Venus's transit in the sign of Taurus brings a greater focus of ourself towards family, our finances, our food, and our overall health and well-being. Stay tuned for more interesting videos on my channel. Thank you very much. God bless you all.